Meanwhile, the Pentagon is now weighing another surge of troops to the Middle East, as thousands more Marines are expected to arrive in the region today. At the same time, President Trump is giving negotiations another 10 days to play out.
Fools. They're very smart, actually, in a certain way. And they're great negotiators. I say they're lousy fighters, but they're great negotiators. They are begging to work out a deal.
And that may be true, but here's the catch. We spoke with a former Iranian political prisoner who says Iran is even better at running out the clock.
The Iranians are masters at negotiation. They know how to buy time. They know how to put out feelers. But my view is that the Iranian regime is still trying to buy time and wait to see whether President Trump has to pull back because of domestic reasons, and so they stay in power.
So if Iran is just buying time, what are the next steps in this conflict? Joining me now is former CENTCOM deputy commander and member of the Iran Policy Project at the Jewish Institute for National Security of America, Vice Admiral Robert Harward. Vice Admiral, thanks for being with us here today. Let's just accept that assumption for just a moment, that these negotiations are just a delay tactic, it's a stall tactic. If that's the case and we arrive at our 10-day window at the end of this deadline from President Trump, what happens next?
Well, more forces are there, more options are on the table, and rightfully so to make that conclusions, because we've never seen anything come out of negotiation with the Iranians unless they got something significant in return, like the ability to continue developing their nuclear weapons and billions of dollars, as we've seen in previous administrations. But by that point, well, more troops, not only the Marines, but the 82nd Airborne, the ability to put boots on the ground anywhere in Iran you want, and the ability to have more force to bear. So again, I think time plays on both sides of the table here, and it gives us the continued pressure going after their missiles, going after the Straits of Hormuz to make sure that they can flow and traffic can flow. So those efforts will continue while this goes on. We just won't hit any industrial targets, which President Trump was never a fan of anyhow. He thought if you're going after regime change, those are elements that would help the next government. So the time plays out on both sides of the table.
The troops surging into the Middle East, Vice Admiral, of course, that means more options on the table for President Trump to make whatever decision he feels like is necessary. But what do you feel like right now the Pentagon and the president are considering those troops for?
Well, let's start with shutting down Iranian oil. In the case he's going to let them flow some as an indicator to let them know how valuable. But those Marines have conducted maritime interception ops. We can blockade any Iranian ships. We can blockade access to card without boots on the ground. We can also focus on other important critical infrastructure like Abadan, another accessible from the waterway where they refine a lot of their oil. And then all the islands that are the approach of the Straits of Hormuz. If you seize those, you can shut down any other traffic, including any aircraft or any craft that may have mines on them. So again, all these options will be stronger and in position to execute after this period of time.
Vice Admiral, does the number give you any insight? The number of troops that we're sending at this time, the number of Marines, the 82nd Airborne, USS Tripoli, does that give you any insight to exactly how they'll be used there, either off the coast or in Iran?
Well, that's business as normal. The MEUs were built to go and take land, come from the water and approach. 82nd Airborne, you can always put airborne, they jump into a target. So what it allows us to do to put forces either from the waterway or the air anywhere in Iran we want. So there's a tactical advantage that, but there's also a strategic messaging to the Iranian people how committed we are and that the collapse of the regime is inevitable. I think you're seeing that play out in their strategy. Anything they can do to get time and try to wait out President Trump and increase pressure globally to find a end to this conflict works in their advantage.
All right, Vice Admiral Robert Harward, thank you so much for being with us here today.
Good to be with you.